What's up? I'm Kayko, and you're watching the Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press. Today I am happy to be joined by Keiko. How's it going?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going well. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm excited to dive a bit more into your American Idol journey this past
Yes.
season. But first off, you grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. How was your childhood and how did it shape the person you've become today?
Sure. So I was always like a musical kid. I grew up every single day was like something music. I actually remember I had this it was like a play orchestra set, and whenever we had company or guests over, I did this probably till I was like 7 or 8. I like made them grab an instrument and we like marched around the house and we did like a little marching band. So I was a little kid and I was feeling the beat, I was feeling the rhythm. I started playing piano when I was 3 years old, and I just never kind of looked back from there. It's just always something in the music realm.
Do you have any like professional vocal training or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know about professional. I did this music camp when I was like 10 years old, and they told me that it would help me play better if I sang while I was playing. And then they're like, wait, you actually kind of have a nice voice. You should keep singing. You should continue doing this. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So okay, why not?
You were a theater kid, so tell me a bit about your time
Was
on stage and how you grew as an artist through this form of art and this medium.
I was definitely such a theater nerd in high school. I like listened to Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen probably more than anything else during that during that time period. Um, I got into theater probably in middle school, but mostly in high school. That's where I took it really seriously. Um, I think what theater taught me a lot of was how to really dive into the character that you're playing, because you're playing this same person for the whole show, but also the entire rehearsal process. You're doing this every single day. So it's really beneficial to learn like what are you actually saying here? You're not just singing a song, you're just not singing notes. It's like why are you saying these words? Who are you saying them to? Like all of the like where did you come from before this? All of that like given circumstances before that. And so when I started doing my artist stuff afterwards, I tried to bring a lot of the theater mentality of like, what are we doing here? Like, why is the reason for this song? And also, the performance element of it too, where it's very theatrical. It's kind of larger than life. I feel like I bring a lot of that to Keiko, and I love it because it's like rock songs, it's pop songs, but with a little bit of like theatrical flair. I look up to Queen a lot. I feel like they did that really really well.
Definitely a lot of showmanship. I was looking at some old videos of you. You had this great cover of Michael Bublé's "Feeling Good" from high school. You even emceed
Oh
and performed
wow.
as part of a
That's a
wedding
deep
band.
cut. That is a deep cut. Wow. Nobody's found that one just yet.
I'm sure people have seen it. I know you have a lot of like K crew members, like dedicated fans. We'll talk about them in just a bit, but I know that you were studying songwriting at Berklee College of Music before you withdrew, moved to Nashville. Take me through that decision for you.
Yeah, so my first year of college was crazy because I had no idea what I was stepping into. I went to a college prep high school, and it was just one of those things where after high school you're going to college. It's just kind of how it was what was going to happen regardless of my thoughts about it. And so I applied for Berkeley, and they said come on in. And it wasn't until I was actually there that I realized like what I would be doing, and it was crazy. I met so many really talented people. That was the highlight for sure. But I was in this phase of my life where I was like, I kind of don't want to sit in a classroom and learn music. I feel like I need to like experience the world. I need to go out into the world and like get my heart broken and write about it and like live my life. That's just where I was in that time of my life. So I dropped out after my third semester, and I was like, I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna take a year off. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff. And then COVID happened 2 months in. So I was like, oh, maybe I won't travel. Maybe I'll just be depressed for a year. And then I moved to Nashville, and that was the best decision I ever made for sure.
You've been working kind of with the Songhouse in Nashville. So how did you
Yeah.
kind of join this family and collective, and how have they really challenged and motivated you?
So there's this movie Yes Man that I watched where it's like the concept is you have to just say yes to whatever people say, you can't say no. And so I watched the movie, I was kind of inspired. I was like, I'm gonna do that one night. And that night of me just saying yes against my best judgment actually led me to meeting all of the people that are really the core makeup of Songhouse, or that at least were at the time. And so I said yes to playing this one show, said yes to going to the party afterwards, said yes to going to like the game room after, which said yes to leading me to another show after that, which all of the Songhouse people were at that one. So I guess that life lesson is just say yes. Just fall, like don't let your inner insecurities of like, oh, I'm kind of tired. Like don't let that prevent you from doing some awesome stuff, because the Songhouse has really been so crucial for my growth as an artist. I mean, they've helped me write so many songs and given me so many opportunities as a producer. I've nothing but love for those guys. Those are my friends.
What's really cool is there's so many different like idol current contestants this past season, like Emmy. I think Roman and Aji were also in some videos, and even past seasons as well. So you've got this like Songhouse family, but also a bit of an idol family within that as well. Producer side, I just wanted to touch on that. Like, how long have you been producing for, and what inspired you to learn this aspect of music?
I learned producing because I wanted my songs on Spotify and real producers were too expensive. So it's like I have to figure out how to do this by myself. It started when I was 14. I was just like making YouTube covers, and I was like, I didn't even think about it as producing. I was like, oh, I need to record myself playing piano and singing. And I was like, oh, well, what if I had like a little bass? Like, what if I had a little drum part? And then eventually that turned into producing. I actually was at Songhouse for the first couple times. They're like, "Oh, you're a producer." I was like, "No, absolutely not. I just record myself and do all the instrumentation." And they're like, "That's what producing is." I'm like, "I guess when you put it like that," but it's just so not the mindset that I was adopting for a long time. Sorry, I'm totally getting tangential. What I was saying was the Songhouse producing happened because I kind of came in, they just needed someone to do it, and they said, "You're doing it because you're a music guy." I was like, "I definitely am not good enough. I'm definitely not qualified for this." But they just kind of threw me in the fire enough times where I'm like, "Oh, wait, maybe I actually can do this. Maybe I've put in the reps. Maybe I've, learned the bare minimum to survive." And now that I've been doing that, it's only inspired me more to grow. And when you actually adopt the mentality that you are something, it kind of lights a fire under you where you're like, "Oh, yeah, let's go. Let me learn these plugins. Let me learn all these new things." And the more you do something, the better you get at it.
Well, I think you've gotten great at it. You know, you've produced so much of your own original music. You were also involved in like the behind the scenes production of different shows and recitals when you were younger. So I think it's like clear that you've always had that bit of a curiosity learning bug in you. I know music, it helped you kind of heal after your mother Annie's passing. How did music find you in your time of need and give you a renewed purpose in that sense?
Yeah. I mean, when my mom passed, it was like for sure the worst thing I've ever gone through. It was like definitely hell on earth. And I think that music was always just my outlet to express myself ever since I was a little kid. And so writing music about that definitely helped me process that grief. And the coolest part about that is even years after I wrote that song, I mean, there were lots of songs that I wrote about are just for me that will never see the light of day. But the song that I put out, How to Live Without You, it's really cool because I've reached out, a lot of people have reached out to me saying, like, my parent just recently passed, and there are no songs like this except for this one. And I'm sure that's not the total truth, but it's really cool to have written a song for a really specific scenario that I thought was just my own crap. And then other people reach out and they're like, "Hey, this actually affected me, and you have no idea who I am." And that's like one of the coolest things in the world about being an artist is like you can have this personal experience, and somewhere across the world someone's having that same experience because of something that you wrote.
You had a release kind of for her, which was To the Sky, the collection of songs. And I know at the time you had donated proceeds to different mental health charities. So it really kind of shows your intent and genuineness. And on your LinkedIn profile before, I think you said that success to you was when you can help listeners feel something and heal their own personal scars, which is perfect kind of for that song and kind of the
Yeah.
reception that you've received for it. Let's talk a bit about your songwriting process. What are recurring themes for you lately, and how do you put your ideas into words?
Oh, what a wonderful question. I think I really like the idea of an artist being like a TV show in a sense. You know, there's like season 1, season 2, season 3. And I feel like the season that we're on right now, I think we actually just ended. Like we had the season finale quite literally on Sunday. And I think that that was it was growing up, it was first love, first heartbreak. I'll never do this again. And then I think now is this kind of definitive moment of like, oh shoot, like I think we're doing this. I think we're really taking another step into artistry. And I also think it's cool that there's an element of like self discovery with it too, because it's something I'm writing and it's the character of Keiko, but it really is just me in my life. You know, like I can't write anything that's untrue to my life. And so, especially with What If and Poser coming out recently, like those are like the biggest vulnerabilities of just my imposter syndrome and my nihilism and all these bad things. But now that they're almost out in the open, I feel so much freer, if that makes any sense. So the new stuff that I'm writing, I feel like comes from such a free place of, yeah, like I'm gonna walk into this room and I'm gonna pretend like I'm supposed to be there until I feel like it indefinitely.
I think it's really cool to see that evolution, like especially for you personally, like you can see it in your words and even probably the processes. Maybe it becomes, like you said, freer, like a bit more easier to kind of put into words what you're thinking. Let's talk about American Idol. Take me behind the scenes. What did a
Yes.
typical day in the life look like for you as a contestant?
Oh, so you're talking for like live shows?
Sure. We'll go with the live shows. I know they were very long days. So just from getting up, like what time did your day start and end as well?
Yeah, I mean it was different every day, but a typical day is we get up at around like 7 or 8ish. Uh, we go to the studio, we get some breakfast, we do some vocal coaching. We pick the songs for this week or next week. We work on them. A funny thing people might not know about is you pick the songs that you're doing like weeks in advance because they have to make sure that like you sound good doing it, that it's okay clearing it on television, and like it's all cohesive, like everybody's not doing a ballad. And so I pretty much had the songs that I was doing picked out for the rest of the show, like when I got eliminated. So that's why I started doing my Instagram series. I was like, I've already practiced these songs. Like we've already made the arrangements of them. Why not? So after vocal coaching, we'll do like some camera rehearsal. We'll tell you like which cameras you're looking at when, and dry block will like help you with your movement. It's a really slow process, but it also goes by like really, really fast, if that makes any sense.
You have a lot of like downtime in between when you're kind of waiting for like the band or for the vocal coaches.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It's a lot of like you're sitting there, you're like waiting for something to do, and it's like, all right, and now you're going, and you're like, okay, and we're going right now. Just because there's so many people on the idol set that are like all doing their little thing. And so if you're off by 5 minutes, that like moves everybody else by 5 minutes.
You don't want to be
It's
that person.
you don't want to be that person. I try to be easy to work with. I try to be kind to the people that are, you know, working really, really hard to try and make me look and sound good. But I have nothing but respect for all the people that are working on American Idol. Like they're totally high class, like the vocal coaches, the creative team, like behind the scenes crew. There's my guy Julio that's like always on the forklift, like moving things around. There's just like so many people behind the scenes that actually like really care about making a good show. And I think that's really cool. And I wish that that came through television more, is like how hard the people actually work to make it a good show.
Well, that's amazing to hear. It definitely takes a village. So I'm glad to hear that there's so many so invested in, how the show turns out as well. Did you get to choose hair,
Yeah.
makeup, wardrobe for each performance?
Yeah, I mean they were definitely like they they have their umbrella, and you're like, is this in your world or is this not in your world? And you're like, oh, this is not really in my world. How about over here? And they're like, okay. So it's definitely like a working relationship and a compromise. The guy liner was, I will take full credit for that though. I will say, I was just sitting in the chair the day of the show for somebody that I used to know. I was like, I kind of want to do guy liner. And they were like, really? I'm like, yeah, why not? Sounds fun. And then it kind of became a thing. So I was like, sure, let's keep rolling with it. It was really just a spur of the moment idea. I had no prior thought to it.
And the nails as well.
The nails, yeah. Well, I asked the Discord server, I asked the K crew, I was like, should we do black nails with the guy liner? And they all went crazy. So I was like, okay, I guess we're doing the nails today.
It was a great look, and that was such a like breakthrough performance for you. I know you never wanted to kind of compromise your artistry, so whereas everyone, like the producers and the band, good with working on you for the arrangements, especially with your original songs.
Yeah, and that was the best part. That was awesome. I think American Idol really they want to enhance what is already you. They don't really want to make you anything that you're not. And so if for me, like I went to them, I say, hey, here's who I am. And I'm not changing that. They said, awesome, we're just gonna help lift this up. Like, and if you're like, hey, this is not me, they say, heard 100% understand, let's make it more you, which is really, really cool.
How seamless and easy was it to bond with your fellow contestants? And was there anyone you were intimidated to talk to or approach at first?
It really wasn't that. It was intimidating in Hollywood Week. Actually, the thing that I noticed was most of the people in the top 10 were like kind of the loners in Hollywood Week when there were like 150 people. Like there were, of course, there's like cliques that develop in friend groups, and most of the people, most people went home, and it was like me. I really only hung out with like four people in Hollywood Week, and most of them made it very deep into the competition, but we were all like very on the outside looking in. I'm such a introvert in terms of like I want to find my people and then I don't want to expand. I'm like, you're my bubble, you keep me safe.
When it got to like kind of the later rounds and you're going to the like Walt Disney together and everything like that, it's like these people like it becomes your family, right? You're spending like
Oh,
so
true,
much of
yeah.
your time with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy coming home because it's just been your life forever. It's like it's all consuming too. It's not just like you clock in, you clock out. It's like every single second, even all of your dreams are about American Idol and your castmates. So you're like, when you come home, it's like, what do I even do now that I'm not with these people that I've been spending every single day with for the last 3 months? It's weird. I'm like remembering how to do normal life.
Well, we know the answer to that, and it's called going on tour with them.
Yes. Yes, we
Tell me
do.
a bit about that. Jordan, Blake, and Mackenzie. You just kind of announced the other day that you're looking for prospective, like kind of cities to tour in.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan, McKenzie, and Blake, we had a really nice bond. I feel like we were like the pop guys that were on this season, and we were just kind of talking. I think it was the day right before Blake got eliminated, or we were playing FIFA in Mackenzie's room, and he was like, "We should go on tour." And we're like, "Yeah, ha 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 ha." And then he pulls out his phone and he like calls his manager. He's like, "All right, we're gonna go on tour. We're gonna like make this happen." We're like, "Oh shoot!" He's like serious. He's like, "It wasn't just a joke." And so after the show, obviously, when we were still on, it was hard to think about anything else. After the show, we were like, "Yeah, let's like do a photo shoot. let's see how much interest there is. And so we're still figuring out like what it actually is, but the coolest thing is I feel like there's so much transparency in terms of we're like we ask the fans like, do you want us to go? Where do you want us to go? And they fill out the tour form, they've joined my Discord server, and they are like, we want you in Boston. So I'm like, loud and clear, cool. Boston's on the list. And so it's really, really cool that we are going exactly where most people that we want. We're just kind of open ears right now. Does that make sense? Am I describing that right?
Yeah. I think like you're figuring out what this tour looks like, the cities and everything like that. But I feel like it's good to take that feedback and kind of form it into what you'll be doing. And it's really exciting. I hope there's more news coming in the very near future for
In
later
the
this
very near
year.
future. Yeah, I mean we're taking in feedback. It's mostly taking in feedback. It's mostly saying, "Hey, we want you guys to do a duet together." It's like, "Oh, okay, then let's learn the duet together." We want you to play this song. Like, okay, I'm big on fan service, like give the people what they want. Like they're paying for a ticket. Why not them choose what we're doing and where we're doing it at?
And I think you have your own kind of server going on maybe for the tour, but you also, of course, have the K crew to throw
Of
you that input
course.
at any point. Um, Talk quickly about the judges and your dad, Ryan. Tell me about the personal interactions you had with them on Idol this season and what it's meant to you.
Yeah. I think all of the on-camera interactions were amazing, and the off-camera interactions were even more hilarious because they were very brief, but it would just be like, "Oh yeah, we're all real people here. We're all just like humans." During the Neil Diamond number at the finale, Katy Perry was just looking at me the whole time, going like, "You're my best friend. You're my," and it's just like hilarious because it happened in front of millions of people and the cameras just weren't on it, and so people won't ever see it, but I saw it, and that's all that I need. That's all the validation I need.
That's perfect. And I mean, that New Kids on the Block performance, I just want to say, so much fun. I mean, you had
Heck
so many
yeah.
moments. I mean, six member, can you perform with them on tour? I'm sure you'd be up for anything.
I am down for anything. That was so much fun. I didn't I didn't realize how much fun it was going to be until I met them in person. And like all five of them are just so like silly, goofy, like let's hype you up, let's bring the party. And that's kind of my philosophy with the performing as well. It's like let's do the dang thing. Let's have fun. Why not entertain?
I have our signature question for you. If you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
Oh, without a doubt, I would be a classic chocolate chip cookie dough. Because cookie dough is the thing that you're not supposed to eat. They don't, they don't, it's like illegal to eat, but yet they market it in an ice cream. So it's awesome. Why not? That's awesome.
I love it. Perfect way to end things off. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat. We're excited for you and your future this year. Check out Keiko's music on Spotify and where
Yes.
you stream your music. Lots more coming. We'll post Keiko socials below, and we will see you next time.
I appreciate it, guys.